What's happening, guys? Steve here from Suarez Real Estate Group. How you doing? I've got my coffee in hand here. It's nice and cold outside, at least it is for me. I am recording today in May of 2023, and I've been working with a couple of buyers and just been talking to a lot of different people. And everybody kind of wants to know, like, hey, like, what's the market like? You know, is it a good time to buy? Should I keep renting? So on and so forth. So I thought I'd talk about that today. So stick around, grab a cup of coffee or a beverage, and let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Like I said, today I just kind of wanted to talk briefly about, like, is it a good time to buy a house, condo? What are my thoughts on interest rates? What do I think about the market? What would I do? These are questions that I've been asked lately. I've been working with a couple of buyers, so sit back, grab a cup of coffee. All right. So hey, listen. So should you buy a house now? What are your thoughts, Steve, with interest rates? So let me just tackle the should you buy a house now. I think you should buy a house now if you are ready, and this is like, I know it's such a broad answer, I guess you could say, because it really depends on you, the viewer, the individual, the family, what you're trying to do. There's a lot of variables in that answer. Do you have a stable job? Is your income going to go up? Is it going up? What sort of debt do you have? Do you have any debt? Do you have a lot of debt? Do you have student loans? You know, these are all the things that you need to take into consideration when you're thinking about buying a house or a condo, an investment property. You want to go into owning something that is your dream, so it doesn't become a nightmare, so you don't get in the red. You know, you don't want to take on a payment and then all of a sudden lose your job because you don't have an emergency fund. You know, there's just a lot of different factors, and I'm not here to try to scare you or anything like that, because life in general is scary. It's not a straight shot through life. You know, there's a lot of this, and that's what makes us human, to get past these things. So there's a lot of things that are going to come into our lives that we're just not expecting, and those things make you stronger as you get through them. And I'm here to tell you that if that's something that you're thinking about doing, buying a house, I think you should just sit down with the professional, and just kind of go over your game plan, figure something out and see where you're at. That's why I'm always saying, you know, the first thing that you need to do is reach out to a real estate agent or a friend that's in the market or that's in the business. Maybe talk to a couple of friends that own homes, and then set up a plan with, like, a lender, you know. Planning is a big thing in life, and a lot of us, I think, don't do it often enough. We just kind of wing it, and it's not the best way to go if you're going to try to own a house. So that would be my first thing. Yes, you should be a homeowner. So then they say, hey, Steve, what about interest rates? Don't you think they're a little too high? Don't you think, why would I want to buy a house now with interest rates being so high? Well, in my opinion, interest rates, yeah, they are high, no doubt about that. But when I first bought my first home, I think I want to say my interest rate was about 6.25%, 6.5% at the time. So I didn't think anything of it because I was so young and I really didn't know anything about real estate or interest rates or banking. All I know is that I wanted a house, and that's what I did. We made it work, and yeah, it just, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It was a financial burden at times because I was so young, and it did catch up to me. You know, I didn't have any plans. So interest rates, would I do it again? I sure would, if I was more educated and if I had someone to have educated me a little bit more on interest rates and how you can refinance later and so on. So I think that's something that, as a country, we don't have enough education in finance, and a lot of us just kind of stumble through life figuring things out. So I'm here to tell you that, again, if you have a stable job, if you feel like your income is going to go up, if you feel like you're going to advance in life, whether it's by yourself or with a partner, a spouse, no matter what it is. If you feel you guys are gonna further along in life, then yeah, you should buy the house right now, because interest rates honestly will go down. Now, will they go down to the two? And it comes, and then the next thing is like, hey, listen, so, but, you know, I can't afford anything in this area, this is where I wanna live. Well, unfortunately in life sometimes we have to sacrifice. That's what it's all about. Life is just nothing but sacrificing, taking risks, putting yourself out there, putting yourself out on the limb, and just going for it, whether it works out for you or not. If you don't take that chance, if you don't move out of your comfort zone, then you're never going to grow as a person, as an individual, as a couple. So sometimes what we need to do is, I know we want to all live up in the hills, by the beach, here and there, you know, by the city, but unfortunately, that's not going to always be the case, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be that way all the time. Just until you're capable of selling the first home that you buy, and then maybe your job increases, you get a little bit more education, whatever the case may be, then you can start thinking about upgrading to the area that you really want to do. So basically, what I'm saying is, you need to learn how to sacrifice. We all do, right? So maybe instead of living and buying a turnkey home, you think about maybe moving to an area that you maybe is going to be 30, 40 minutes from work, but at the same time it's going to need some work to be done to the house, and that's going to take up your weekends, and maybe you're not a painter and you don't want to do those things, but sometimes that's what it's called. That's why it's called sacrifice. We do things that we don't want to, but let me tell you, it does make you a stronger person. It brings you together as a couple, with a significant other, your partner. It can do all those things for you. So I think that's a big, big factor. Thinking about maybe moving to another area, maybe even another state, you know. It just depends on how much do you desire owning a home. Yeah, so that's something you need to consider. I think it's probably one of the biggest things to consider, and I think it's one of the things that most of us decide that no, it's just, I don't want to, and I'll just continue renting them, you know. So it's all about sacrifice, man. Really, that's what it comes down to.
So basically, overall,
should you buy a house in 2023? I think so. I really think that you should buy a house. Like I said,